BCPWEDNESDAY.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Big Country Preps Wednesday Night Podcast, our weekly look at the area athletic scene, what happened last week, and what's going on this week. I'm here with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, we've got a special guest today. We've got Hawley boys basketball coach Mitch Ables, and a lot of people are like, what did you say? Boys basketball coach? Yeah, he's also the football coach and the athletic director out there. He's a man of many hats, and he's doing as good a job as anybody in the area.
Yeah, I remember when he took over for Matt Preston last year, and I remember kind of being surprised when we saw his name there on that line as the head basketball coach. But he's done a great job. This is his second year in that role. He's led them to a district championship, led them to a by-district win the other night over Windthorst, and really kind of has that team rolling. They got off to a late start because of the state championship on the football field. A lot of those guys are crossover players, but he's got them playing good basketball, and it's going to be fun to see how far they can go. But I'm excited to talk to him. He's a guy. I mean, if you followed our podcast during the fall, read some of the columns I've written, you know the respect that I have for this guy and what he's done in the coaching profession. I mean, it's just unbelievable what he's done at Hawley, and to see that now extending from the football field to the basketball court, continues the legend of Mitch Ables. That guy is, I mean, he is joining elite company when you talk about some of the things he's done as a coach, and he is just a massive asset to Hawley in the Big Country. So it'll be fun to talk to him about this year's team and just about kind of the unique challenge of coaching both sports. I'm excited to talk to him about that.
Before we bring on Coach Ables, we need to thank some of our sponsors, beginning with For the Love of the Game Broadcasting and our old friend Terry Slavens, owner of K-Lakes 93.5 FM out of Breckenridge, 97.7 FM KATX out of Eastland, Classic Country AM 1330 out of Graham, 94.7 FM KWKQ out of Graham, KROO 1430 AM out of Breck, and KWBY 98.5 FM out of Ranger. That is For the Love of the Game Broadcasting. Also, Rob Durham, sales consultant at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge. If you're in the market for a vehicle, new or used, give Rob a shout. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. Call him at 254-559-2266. That's Rob Durham up at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge. All right, and with that, just before we bring on Coach Ables, one more quick reminder. When you're on YouTube, please, watching one of our videos, please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free on YouTube. And when you do that, please hit that little bell so you'll receive notifications every time we bring out a new video.
And we'd also like to remind you to make sure you're checking out the site. We've obviously are wrapping up basketball season, hitting the playoffs in both boys and girls. Still a lot of great coverage on those sports. But if you hit the site this week, you'll realize we've started our coverage on softball and baseball as well. So we will not be slowing down as we move into the spring sports. Going to have a ton of coverage on through the end of the basketball season, and then we'll just be going seamlessly into track, baseball, softball, and we will keep you covered on all of Big Country athletics. So make sure you're checking that stuff out. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming.
And feel free to compare what we're bringing you compared to other media sources. There's no comparison, really, no comparison. You about ready to talk to Coach Ables?
Yeah, I am, and it looks like he's about ready to join us, so let's go ahead and get him on.
And joining us now, Hawley head basketball coach Mitch Ables, who is also their head football coach and athletic director. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Coach, congrats on the district championship. Congrats on the by-district win. Tell us a little bit about this year's ball club and what you guys are doing right to get you to this point.
Well, it was a process to say the least. We I think last night's by-district game was about our fourth game to have everybody at our availability playing basketball, just with injuries over from the football season and a couple of grade issues and stuff like that. But we're finally have them all together for, I guess that last night's game was the fourth game we've had them all together.
Coach, you've got Toller or Italy next. What do you know about these ball clubs? I'm sure it's going to be difficult no matter which one you're facing.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about Italy just because they're a good ways off from us. But, Toller's a very athletic and tall and kind of lanky, long ball club. So either way we go, it's going to be a chore for us. And, anybody about the second round on, anybody that plays good.
And Coach Evan just mentioned this, and it is kind of unique. I was talking to Hugh Sandifer over at a Wiley game not long ago, and we were talking just that he had coached both basketball and football simultaneously, he said, for about 9 years. What are kind of the challenges that are presented when you do that, and kind of talk a little bit about kind of how that came about?
Well, I mean, we had a pretty young coach a couple of years ago, and he decided he wanted to do something different, and it was so late in the game that we couldn't make any changes, and so I stepped in to do it and enjoyed it. That's kind of what I thought I was going to do when I first got out of college, was coach basketball. My dad was 35 plus years in the basketball side of things, and that's kind of the way I was wanting to go. And went into Hardin-Simmons and came out wanting to be a football coach.
Coach, obviously football and basketball are two different games, much different. What are the differences and similarities in your coaching philosophies that you can think of
Well,
between the two sports?
we you can't really coach effort and attitude and stuff, and that's kind of what we bank on, both football and in the gym. And when you get a bunch of guys hustling and competing a little bit, we always tell them that the luck happens if you're hustling hard enough. So that's kind of what we like to do, is just try to out hustle people. And it's been a process. We've had some games where we couldn't hit anything. So I think hopefully the shots are starting to fall and we can all get clicking on the same level. But it's really tough getting out of football as late as we have and trying to play basketball after that. It's just kind of got to control the rough, I guess, when you got a bunch of football guys playing basketball. In the first few games, I remember our first game against Stanford, I think we had a couple of tackles in that game. So, it's just a process to try to rein them in a little bit, but you don't want to rein them in too much because you still want that effort and hustle.
And Coach, you talked a little bit about your basketball background, and I've actually had a couple of different people, either referees, longtime referees, or coaches, that have independently told me what a good basketball player you were. Just talk a little bit about the basketball background. Was that kind of your first love, or kind of describe kind of your background in that sport?
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I actually went to Hardin-Simmons to play basketball, and just getting there, and somebody talked me into playing on the football team, and played a year of that, and then went and tried to play basketball. And the coach told me, hey, if you're playing basketball, I want you in there year round. So I cut my losses and went and played baseball in the spring there. And then the next year, I actually started basketball at my sophomore year, and played a basketball season, went and played baseball after that, and just kind of reflected on everything. And after those 2 years, decided to just go play football for the rest of it.
Coach, you won a state football championship, then you have to change gears and go into basketball. Emotionally, for the guys, was that a plus, or was it? I mean, did you have to kind of slow them down just a little bit emotionally?
Yeah, I think so. And I had to kind of slow myself down too. I thought last year that a good remedy for losing in the state championship was not having time to think about it and going and coaching a basketball game. And this year we just happened to play good at the right time in football, and then it was a real gear changer for sure, trying to go straight into basketball. And we were still on that high, and I think it kind of showed early on, but I think we're kind of finally settling in a little bit.
And Coach, you kind of just answered my next question, which was kind of the emotional drain on you personally. But just given this experience the last 2 years, is this something that is sustainable? Is something you want to do long term, coaching both sports like that?
It is. Part of being an athletic director at a small school is you're at all these things anyway. I'd be driving from game to game and getting into softball and baseball now, and I figured, hey, if I'm there, I might as well coach it. So I coached a few years in the middle school before I took over the head high school job. So it's kind of it kind of keeps me grounded, and I learned that I don't yell at the officials near as much as I'm on the bench as I'm in the bleachers. So it's good, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Coach, you may have a lot of football players on your basketball team, but I mean, a lot of guys that are successful at basketball emphasize defense and rebounding. And with the athletes that you've got, with the strength and the size, the athleticism, man, that's something you can really focus on and do well with.
Absolutely. You know, our guys, they're definitely not afraid to mix it up a little bit. And we've had some pretty rough games, and they've been able to be rough with the best of them. So you know, we're kind of banking on that hopefully we can out hustle and out physical some people. But you know, here as we go into the playoffs, we're going to find some guys that do the same thing. So we're going to just continue to have to play, get better.
And you mentioned that the shots are starting to fall a little bit for you, and y'all are blessed with a couple of really dynamic offensive guards. When you look at Casey Shields, Keegan Knight, guys who can really score the basketball. Just how nice is it to have those two guys that can kind of get hot and carry you offensively for periods?
No, it's good, you know, and so far we've had one of the two's been hitting, so it helps, you know, and we're still trying to find that game where both of them are hitting. So, and when they do, I think it'll really be special. But yeah, Teagan, when we first started, Teagan was having to carry quite a bit of the load just because he's not a football player and he's been in the gym since August. So he's kind of shouldered the load a little bit. And then finally, when Kaysen got going after, you know, we didn't even have he didn't even go to the holiday tournament with us because he had an abscess removed out of his quad. So, you know, it took him a while to get back. I think his first game was our second district game. And, you know, he finally got going a little bit. And then it just so happened Teagan had an off night and Kaysen was hitting. So we've been able to kind of work around who's not hitting and who's hitting. And hopefully we can get them both hitting at the same time.
And last question, but you're getting an opportunity to coach your son, potentially sons. I mean, just what's that experience been like for you to get to coach your kids and get to see them have some success and know that you got a few more years with them?
Oh, it's fun. You know, I pray all the time for time to slow down a little bit just because they're growing so quick. But it's been real fun for me. I don't know. You might ask them that question. They might disagree with you because sometimes I'm a little harder on them than I am the other guys. But it's been fun. You know, watching both of them grow and develop, and just the leaders that they've kind of become, and it's been really fun to watch, and it's been really pleasant for me to have them both.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time, and we will be keeping a close eye on the Hawley Bearcats the rest of the way. Good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
And that was Hawley boys basketball coach Mitch Ables, who is also their football coach, their athletic director. You don't see that a lot at the 2A level. You'll see it at 1A, but you don't see it. You don't see it a lot at 2A.
No, you don't. And like I was talking about with him, I've talked to Coach Hugh Sandiford out at Wiley, who did that for 9 years, and he's just straight told me just kind of what a challenge it is. So the fact that Coach Ables has not only done it for the past couple of years, but plans on continuing to do it, kind of tells you just the energy level and how committed you have to be to do that, because that is a difficult job to jump straight from football into basketball, and not only that, but to be good at both. I mean, they just won a state championship on the football field. They won a district championship, a bi-district championship on the basketball court. Have a team that can make a run. Just a remarkable coach. We've talked about it so much during football season, but the same is true during basketball season. He has just done an unbelievable job at Hawley of building athletic programs that just go into every season expecting success. And it was fun to get to talk to him today.
And with that, it's about time to wrap up the Big Country Preps Wednesday night podcast. But before we do that, we want to remind you that we've got 3 separate subscription packages here at Big Country Preps. We've got a monthly for $5 a month. We've got a semi-annual 6-month subscription where we knock that price down to $4 a month. And we've got an annual 12-month subscription where we knock that price down to $3 a month. $36 for a full year of Big Country High School athletic coverage.
We'd also like to remind you that if you see a photo you like in any one of our galleries, those are available for purchase. We have photo downloads available for $7, as well as some keepsakes and prints. As you're scrolling through the site, you'll notice pretty quickly we take a lot of photos from these games we're at. It's something we enjoy doing and something we are very proud of here at BigCountryPreps.com.
All Big Country, all high school, all the time. Welcome home.